Right, evening. Max Verstappen, it's been announced, is going to stay with Red Bull in the F1 till 2020. So he'll be in the sport for at least another 2.5 years. The sport needs him. It needs exciting racing because I find it antiseptic and the cars are not all competitive and it's a bit, unfortunately, dull compared to NASCAR, IndyCar, touring cars, superbikes, etc. It's just not fun to watch. And there's a few other good young drivers in around GP2 and F1 at the moment. And if the cars were, and I hope with Liberty Media they make the cars a little bit closer together competitiveness wise, because I don't really think Hamilton and Vettel are as good as their titles suggest they are. Simply, they've only won because their cars don't break down. You take Verstappen and put him in a Ferrari or a Mercedes at the moment against a Hamilton and see what happens. He's a bit more bonkers than those guys. And they were bonkers back in the day, and they think they're above the rules. I think they're better than everyone else. And I don't like it about those two, how they forget where they come from, which is a hard-working family background. Yes, Max Verstappen's dad was an F1 driver, which helps. Yes, Nico Rosberg and Damon Hill were both sons of F1 champions. Jenson Button's dad was a rallycross champion, and it was unfortunately passed away when he did a few years ago. So some of these F1 champions have had connections with motorsport. Others, their parents were hard working middle class or working class or middle class parents. But Max Verstappen has no fear. He is like a Kimi Raikkonen, just younger. And Kimi Raikkonen, I love the guy. When he had his own rally team, he bought the car himself, he paid for everything himself, he ran the team, and he drove the car. And he obviously got a co-driver and everything, but he paid the mechanics out of his own pocket, so that's how much of a bloke he is. He really is a lad's lad. And he played a couple of years out rallying, having fun. He'd obviously he stopped enjoying F1 at the time. And he asked Ferrari, can I go in the World Rally Championship as a privateer for a couple of years? And they let him. He obviously had not stopped enjoying the sport at the time. The thing was, he was driving for a customer Fiat, Fiat Punto, which is basically the company that owns Ferrari anyway. So he just transferred sports, took his sponsorship over, had fun for a couple of years, found he still loved motorsport, came back. He hasn't won a title since, but he's had fun. He went to Renault for a bit, he did leave Ferrari, obviously he'd stopped enjoying the sport. But he's basically the old version of Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen is the young Kimi Raikkonen. But the Finns make brilliant rally drivers anyway, and a brilliant touring car driver as well. If you put Max Verstappen in any other motor car, in any other motorsport, he's still going to be nuts. He's still going to entertain. And it is vital for F1 that they keep him and other young drivers and make all the cars competitive rather than just a few at the front. So throughout the field, you've got young talent going for it, and then you really see how good Hamilton and Vettel are. But it is good he's staying. I have a few reservations about F1, quite a few. Put gravel traps back in as well, and then see Max Verstappen still go for it, because he will get it wrong a few times. And he won't finish every race, he's not going to win every race. I do not expect motorsport F1 drivers or touring car drivers or NASCAR drivers to win or finish every race. I expect them occasionally, even the top ones, to smash it into the wall or crash into another car or blow the engine up and go wide, end up in a gravel trap, and get it wrong. That's what makes motorsport, when the cars are equal and it's down to drivers, entertaining. And this is why I'm glad Max Verstappen has decided to stay in the sport for at least another couple of years. If he goes to something like IndyCar or NASCAR or touring cars, he's going to be damn fun to watch. He really is. He's going to basically ram someone off. Probably a multiple champion of the class he's in, and they're not going to be happy with him. But he's going to be entertaining for the fans. And that's what the fans of motorsport are crying out for, is another character who just is bonkers. We need bonkers drivers, regardless of their background. He is insane. The guy has no fear. If you watch, I hate watching F1 now, but if you watch the replays of him overtaking with the radio in, how he responds to his team, it's like Kimi Raikkonen tells his mechanic, "Shut the f up, let me drive." He basically tells his engineer, "Go away, do one, let him have fun." And I think some of the drivers hate having the DRS and the boost button, and they've got to save fuel. I think they want to go out flat out 110% of the time. And it's great that Max Verstappen's going to stay in the sport. And if Liberty Media do make these changes that they rumour they might, my God, F1's going to be interesting in the next couple of years. I might start watching it again. Anyway, thanks for watching. It's been a very, very short video, but my God, he's entertaining. Watch this space. He may not be world champion anytime soon. He might be world champion. If rule changes come in that make it more just down to driver skill and raw talent, he will be world champion. At the moment, the way the rules are, he will never be world champion. The rules are designed the way they are. Same with the Schumacher era. The only guy that challenged, the only three guys to actually take titles away from him, until Alonso came along, was Damon Hill, Jack Villeneuve, and Mika Hakkinen. And then he got to start winning titles again. Those guys stopped Schumacher dominating even more titles. And the rules back then, it was a little bit more wheel to wheel, and some of the small teams did win a lot of races. So I'm glad that Max Verstappen's staying in F1. In the partner team at Toro Rosso, you got Carlos Sainz Jr. His dad was a world rally champion. So both these young lads have had fathers who've raced at the pinnacle of their specific motorsports, be it F1, World Rally Championship. And they were a bit bonkers as well. And like having a bit of I've crashed the car, I've written it off. And Sainz won the World Rally Championship, I think, twice. Once in the early 90s and once later on. And he came close a few more times. And he was a very passionate, crazy Spaniard. So with these two young lads staying in the sport, hopefully long term, and some of the other young lads as well that are floating around, Verline, Ocon. If you look in GP2, some of the young lads have gone back down in GP2, but if you look at some of them in there, there is some juicy talent. And some of these guys have no fear and they're bloody bonkers. A lot of them, I find a lot of the F1 paddock though, too corporate, and they're not really allowed the drivers to express themselves, even in interviews. I want to see drivers lose their marbles in interviews like we used to. I want to see drivers have punch-ups like we used to in the pit lane. I like seeing that. F1 now has become a commercial. Duh. It's just duh. It really is. I want to see crazy racing. I want to see gravel traps back in more numbers. Get rid of those stupid runoffs. I want to see the cars being more even. And my God, Max Verstappen and Carlos Sainz, there we're going to have some fun watching these young lads. We're going to have fun watching like just cars flying off. And then Grosjean, who likes to pray himself, and he's a bit more experienced than these young lads. When Grosjean has a praying, it's fun because he is calmed it a little bit. But I like watching insane, carefree, just go for it. And we've lost that in the last 20 years with F1. We need to have it back. The safety aspect has improved no end. The cars are so much safer, and I accept that. The barriers are safer. Get rid of the runoffs. Because when a car has a catastrophic failure, like, let's say Alonso and Gutierrez a couple of years ago at Albert Park in Melbourne, when he smashed into the back of him, and then there's that stupid runoff, there was no gravel trap anymore, and he went into the barrier hard, upside down. He did. If there was a gravel trap there, it does decelerate the car a lot quicker. And when he hits the barrier, he doesn't have the sudden inertia where the car suddenly stops. And occasionally, sometimes, because they're going so fast, they bounce so far back off the barrier, they're back into, if another car fails and goes in there, that is going to be a nasty accident. That's one of my gripes. Gravel traps work. They decelerate the car at a safe enough pace to a point where if it's the right type of gravel trap, sometimes the cars do bounce over the top and keep going. But if you get the right type of gravel trap, it does force the car to slow down before it hits the barrier. Apart from that, the safety aspect I do appreciate, because if you watch NASCAR, some of the accidents they have and how they walk out of them, good God, they should be dead. And if that was IndyCar, they're dead. NASCAR, they climb out of a car that has just rolled 20 times and smashed into the barrier and into the catch fence, and they walk out. So if Max Verstappen was in that sport, that would be entertaining. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll have another video for you again soon.